the housing affordability.
Question number 10, Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he agree with the forest industry that government incentives to encourage further wood processing in New Zealand, such as accelerated depreciation rates on machinery, are necessary to maximise New Zealand's share of the global value chain?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no. A few figures might help to assist the discussion. New Zealand exported 4.4 billion of forestry products in 2013, and 60% of this was value-added product. New Zealand processes around 50% of our production onshore. Employment in the first stage processing has been steady at around 17,000 over the last 5 years, and mill productivity is up. Quite a different picture from Labour's tired use of the word crisis. And just last month, the Chief Executive for New Zealand Timber Industry Federation called for rationalisation in the sector to deliver a stronger sawmilling sector.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable David.
Seek your guidance, sir. Earlier in this question time, I was allowed, with the goodwill of the government, to table a document from MPI, sir, which showed that the twice repeated assertion by the then Prime Minister, now Minister of Finance, that 60% of New Zealand's timber exports were value-added was incorrect. The MPI document for 2012-2013, entitled Facts and Figures, shows that 55% were actually exported raw.
Order.
And can we retable it, sir? Or
I've heard enough. I've heard enough. The members now using points of order to debate. The Minister who is answering the question is responsible for his answer. If in any way he's misled the House, then he's certainly responsible for that. Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
How can he claim that his current policies are working, given that raw log exports have rocketed while processed exports have stagnated?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, raw log exports haven't just randomly increased because bad people want to export them. They've increased because the prices have gone up sharply, which has increased New Zealand's national income. Labour's view that Labour have been saying they want high-value export industries. When the prices go up, people tend to export more. It happens that right now exporting logs is higher value than further processing. But as people who've watched this industry for 20 years will know, those prices can drop sharply as they can rise, and it could be a matter of months, a matter of a few years before the situation is significantly reversed.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Why is he sticking with policies that see millions and millions of raw, unprocessed logs exported each year with no value added?
Honourable Bill English.
I simply disagree with that. We are sticking with people in the forestry industry who through a quite a long period of time have learned how to manage the risks of being a supplier, grower of raw material and supplier of processed goods to the world when we're a small market a long way away, dealing with exchange rate risk, product risk and market risk. We back those people to make the decisions that will align best with New Zealand's national interest. And right now, exporting logs when the price is so high is good for the New Zealand economy. We certainly do not back a bunch of Labour politicians whose best ideas come from the 1970s to run our forestry industry.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Does he accept that higher tax allowances will cause more capital investment and thereby improve productivity and create more jobs by helping the wood processing industry to extract more value from the global value chain?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no. What will promote more investment is continuing the government's sensible program. Better roading and rail infrastructure into which we poured billions of dollars, a better flow of skilled better skilled New Zealanders available to the industry to hire them, a stable and competitive energy market to deal with one of their get the benefits of competition for one of their biggest single costs, those, and keeping the interest rate cycle low. One thing that will kill the forestry industry is 10% first mortgage rates, such as was reached under the last Labor government.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Bill English.
Supplementary.
Oh, sorry, Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does he agree with the Associate Minister for Primary Industries, who told the Forest Wood Conference this morning that the Primary Growth Partnership, quotes, is absolutely about picking winners, close quotes? And if so, why does he criticise the Labor government for trying to support the wood processing industry?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I do agree with the Minister about the Primary Growth Partnership, because it's based on science and research, and that is the proper role of government. But I agree, Labor is good at picking winners. It picked the manufacturing sector as a crisis, it's winning. It picked the regions as a crisis, the regions are winning. It's picked forestry as a crisis, and it's winning. And it picked David Cunliffe as a winner, and he's a crisis.
Order, and that won't help the order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David
Does
Parker.
his $600 million irrigation fund for multi-million-dollar dairy farms, or his corporate cronyism for Rio Tinto or Sky City come within his definition of picking winners? And what's the difference between his cronyism and an industry-wide support for better forest processing?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, no. What it does show is this is a government that is willing to be pragmatic when it makes the judgment that it's in the best interests of New Zealand. And I know it annoys Labor that we're not rigidly ideological, but actually we've made occasional interventions where we believe that is in the national interest, and we're ready, willing and able to draw the line around those. What we're not going to do is try and run whole industries, particularly in this case the forestry industry, which is doing well, and the last thing it needs is to be run by a bunch of Labor politicians whose best ideas come from the 1970s.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable David.
How does the Minister's pragmatic, quote-unquote, approach to, quote, healthy competition square with today's finding by the Commerce Commission of price fixing in the Auckland timber products market by Carter Holt Harvey and Fletcher Building? Or is that just another example of the government's approach to crony capitalism?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the member couldn't have picked a worse example, because in our push to improve housing affordability, we identified the pricing of building products as a potential problem and did the first ever market study under the Commerce Act to investigate those issues. We are currently considering the policy issues that flow from that study, and the member can expect to see action following on from it. It is exactly the opposite of cronyism. In fact, at least one of those firms is vigorously campaigning against the government's policy direction.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order. This is a point of order, Honourable.
Mr. Speaker, I seek to table this publication with the charming photograph of the Minister.
I'm going to ask the member to start again because there was still interjections.
Thank you.
This is a point of order. It will be heard in silence.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table this charming cover on The Economist magazine and ask the Minister to identify which of those he is.
Order. And that is a magazine that's available to members if they so want it. Question number 11, Jackie Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Corrections.